Welcome back. A couple of really quite tricky questions this weekend. The first one of which today is something which is easy if you've seen this kind of question before, but equally I'd argue you could sort of work your way through it. And the second one, which is coming up tomorrow, is tricky because it's hard to get to know where to start. But anyway, let's start with today's question. Right in front of you, clearly some sort of symmetry pattern going on here, but can you work it out? Okay, so as ever with these questions, there is an element of having seen something similar before, which always helps, especially in the context of this being an actual exam question, and therefore time is definitely of the essence. So let's see what we've got. So I've clearly got something which has some repetition about it, in other words, some symmetry what I'm doing. So I've got three numbers, and all three of these numbers are of the same format, which is the general format, root a minus b minus root a plus b. And again, you can see all three of them set up in the same direction. It feels like, probably not the right word to use in a maths context, but it feels like there's definitely going to be something that falls out here. The question is what I do next. It's also worth observing where I want to go with this. I want to go to x, y, z. In other words, it's not x plus y plus z or x minus y minus z, and that means I can do something crucial here, which means I can take the square of the numbers and then take the square root later. And the reason that's helpful is because if I take the square of the numbers, well, it kind of gets rid of some of the square roots. Obviously not all of them, but it gets rid of some of the square roots. So a minus b plus b minus etc. etc. You can see on the screen, this all simplifies down to 2a minus 2 lots of root a squared minus b squared. Now, at this stage, frankly, and especially in the context of sitting an exam with limited time, I'm kind of hoping stuff cancels down here. So let's just give it a go. Let's start with the first number. And again, if this was an exam setting, I'd probably try the first number. If this doesn't give me something nice, I'd stop and try another route. So x squared. Now, again, look at my first number. So my equivalent of a is 12. My equivalent of b is 3 root 7. So let's just work that out and see what falls out. So for this first number here, my a is 12. So it's going to be 2 times 12 minus the square of 12, which is 144, minus 3 root 7 squared, which is 63, and all that square root and taking that away. You can see it on the screen, slightly better than what I've just said it out loud. Notably, and this is where I suddenly feel much better about my technique here, 144 minus 63 is going to be 81. I know the square root of 81 is 9, and so that's 12 minus 9, and 2 times 12 minus 9 is going to give me 6. I'm definitely feeling like I've got the right route. As I said above, if this had given me something really difficult, I probably would have felt a bit less confident. Although, because I'm still multiplying them together, maybe it would have cancelled, but I would have felt a bit less confident. Y squared, very similar pattern. So here, if we look at my y number, so my a is 7 and my b is 4 root 3. Multiply this through, do the maths on the other side, and again, I've got 2 times 7 minus 1 that I can do. 2 times 6 is 12. I have another good number. Now, without doing any maths here, I'm really hoping this number is going to be 2, because that's going to give me 12 times 12, 144, and I know what the square root of that is. But let's continue. So z squared equals 2 times, again, my a here is 2, my b is root 3, so it's going to be 2 minus 2 squared minus root 3 squared, and that's going to be 2 minus 1, which is indeed 2, which means the product of all of these is 144. That's x squared, y squared, z squared. I want x, y, z, so it's a square root of this. So square root of 144 is 12. 12 is up there, it's answer E, and therefore I've done today's question. Well done if you got that. I think that's a pretty difficult question, especially if it's the first time you've seen something like this before. I've seen a similar question before, so I kind of knew what to do. And as with all these competitions, this one with the SMC, there is a degree to which it's not the same question, but there's a few techniques which come up quite a bit. But again, well done. Come back for tomorrow's question. Tomorrow's question is, well, let's just say it's one of those that's tricky. You could spend a lot of time looking at it unless you spot what you need to do quite early on. As ever, like, subscribe, do leave any comments below, and I'll see you for tomorrow's question. Thanks all.